We've got some wild Bengals rumors out there on today's show, but first, we need your help. Help us get to 4,500 subscribers so we can keep growing our Bengals channel, keep doing more watch parties, and continue to make this a truly full-time channel and catch our Ravens and Browns channels too. Hit that sub button right now for more free Bengals videos. The Chase Young trade rumors are back once again. Bleacher Report has listed Chase Young as the NFL's #1 trade candidate and said the Bengals were one of the top fits for the former Ohio State product. And I do wonder if they're just doing the Ohio State-Cincinnati thing again. Young missed week 1 due to another injury as he has been unable to remain healthy over the course of his NFL career, especially recently. When I saw this, my reaction was, here we go again. This was a common claim, idea, storyline, whatever we want to call it, before the season began, and it's back now once again. I don't really get it, frankly. I get the overall interest in Chase Young, who could very well be moved at this year's NFL trade deadline if the Commanders end up being bad. He has shown promise. That first year was, oh boy, 8 sacks for a rookie. This guy's going to be in that Bosa category. He's going to be a stud pass rusher. He's going to be so great. He's played in 3 games in 2022 and 2023 combined. Obviously, only one more game available, but still. He's played in 12 the past 2+ years. That's it. He's got 2 sacks. The idea of Chase Young is much better than what the current Chase Young is. He hasn't been healthy. He hasn't been out there. You don't really know how good he's going to be, so there was no trade idea proposed. I'm not even thinking of moving more than a day 3 pick right now for Chase Young. That's not a viable option as far as I'm concerned. Plus, the Bengals need a pass rusher. They have Trey Hendrickson. They have Sam Hubbard as their starters, who right now are better players than Chase Young. They have Joseph Asai come back from injury. We'll talk about that later on in today's show. I'm excited about him. Myles Murphy was a first-round pick. Cam Sample can contribute for you. Do you need a 6th edge rusher? I don't think so. There's also this big problem. The Bengals would owe the remainder of Chase Young's $5.32 million base salary. Now, that's based on how many games he'd have left. So, 5.32 divided by 17, that's your per game check, whatever, 10, 11, 12, 13 game checks, whatever that number ends up being. It's a not insignificant sum of money for a Bengals team that just saved a little bit more than that by releasing La'el Collins. Giving it to another injured guy at a position of non-need doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. So my answer is pretty clear. It's a no. Unless the Commanders want to say, we'll eat the money and we'll take a 7th, then okay, sure. But for the reality, likely outcome costs involved, I'm not that interested. What do you guys think, though? Do you want to trade for Chase Young? Y for yes, N for no. Vote in the comment section at the pinned comment of today's video. If the ad plays, it's great timing. Ignore the ad. Go vote instead. I'm a bit surprised to see this one on there, to be honest with you guys. Jason Fitzgerald of Over the Cap said that he thinks the Bengals should, instead of paying Jamar Chase and potentially losing or trading away Tee Higgins, doing the opposites. Now, he acknowledged he is an outlier with that take, and there are some issues here. I will make note the Bengals allegedly do not plan on keeping Tee Higgins long-term, but still, this is quite the take. Here's what Fitzgerald, who helps run the Over the Cap site, said. I know that I'm in the minority on this one. I think you would be better off trying to work out a deal with Higgins and trading Jamar Chase. I think Higgins can be more consistent. I think it might end up being a little bit more of a reasonable deal. I think you can get more in return for Chase. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to decide that Chase is the higher pick, and so that's who they're going to go with. Look, Fitzgerald is not wrong about the return you'd get for Chase, about the cost of a contract for Higgins, both of those things being more valuable. But that doesn't mean you trade Chase. And this idea, by the way, that a higher pick, no, you're keeping the better wide receiver. That's what you're doing. You're keeping the better player who, by the consistency, no. I feel like sometimes in sports media, we say, oh, you got to be more consistent. When we can't really identify why we feel that way about something, we're just going to blanket coverage, consistency. That's normally true because the NFL is not consistent. Any given Sunday, it's a parity-based league. It's pretty much always true. But Chase has been really consistent. I mean, he's about to play the Ravens. He's averaged 115 yards against that team, by the way. What? No. Come on. So pick one to keep. You might have to pick one, by the way. The Bengals might choose to go down that route. So who would you rather keep? JC for Jamar Chase or Tee Higgins? That's TH. Go vote in the comments section. Here are the numbers, by the way, over the last 2 seasons. Both of these are really good, by the way. 148 yards or catches, 2,000 plus yards, 13 scores. That's some wide receiver one-esque production. And that's Higgins' numbers as the number 2 in Cincinnati because Jamar Chase is your number 1. He's got 22 touchdowns the past 2 years. He's got 2,500 yards. Now, the wide receiver market has been stagnant this offseason. Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Ayuk, Higgins have not gotten new deals. Some of those deals will be around the $30 million per year mark. Some of them might only be $24, $25 million per year. The Niners seem somewhat willing to pay both Samuel and Brandon Ayuk, although they are not paying a franchise quarterback at this point. Higgins would probably cost you around $25 million. Maybe you get a first or a second round pick back or a third round pick, whatever, next offseason. If you don't retain him, you'd get a first plus for Jamar Chase. But I'm in the business of keeping my best players. I'm not trading away the guy that played with Joe Burrow in college and has an electric chemistry with him. I'm keeping Jamar Chase, and that's not really up for debate with me. Today's show is made possible by BetUS. Head over to chatsports.com/bet and use promo code CHAT125 for a 125% deposit bonus. That's $100 down. They will give you an extra $125 for free. The Bengals are still favored this week. In a very unique twist, by the way, they're playing 3 straight home games against the Ravens. Doesn't ever really happen in the NFL, but it was last year they ended against the Ravens. Then they hosted them in the wild card round. Now they play them to begin the year. So kind of fluky from that perspective. At home, what could otherwise maybe be a toss-up game. If a neutral site, it's a 3.5-point spread after all. The Bengals are favored. Go bet on them. I'm taking them this week. Bounce back week for Burrow, baby. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code CHAT125. Did want to spend some quick time here on the Bengals injury report from Wednesday. It is Wednesday, so don't panic too much there. But Cameron Sample, the defensive lineman, did miss Wednesday's practice with an apparent ankle injury after he played 29 snaps for the Bengals in Week 1 per Pro Football Focus. And the stat tracking sites out there all the same numbers. So keep an eye on Sample. He might not be able to go. If he cannot, the good news is it sounds like Joseph Osai is trending towards a return. He was limited on Wednesday with that ankle injury. Now, does require no setbacks, etc. But typically, when you're limited in the first practice on a Wednesday and you're able to kind of ramp your way up throughout the week, that's a really good sign. You're going to be able to play in the game on Sunday. So still early, still some wait and see in terms of the timing and the potential setbacks, whatever, but I do think Osai trending in the correct direction. If he's not back this week, I bet he's back in Week 3. More injury report stuff here. Logan Wilson was limited with an ankle injury. Again, limited on Wednesday. Normally means you play. Probably means he rolled it at some point or whatever. Wouldn't be too concerned there. Chris Evans also limited with a hamstring issue. I'm not too concerned. Again, limited unless it's DNP on Thursday, then raise the red flags. But because sometimes what you'll see, by the way, is you'll see a practice on Wednesday, player gets hurt in the practice, and then they're listed as limited. So keep an eye on Wilson, on Evans. If they drop to DNP, that's a red flag. Otherwise, nothing to be too concerned about. Joe Burrow still on the injury report with that calf because they are managing it. It is there still for Burrow. He's going to play through it, though. It's not that bad right now. He was a full participant Daxton Hill injured his hand at some point, but he was full as well. So nothing too concerning on Burrow or on Hill, but we will monitor the Sample, Osai, Wilson, and Evans injury statuses. Thursday's a big day for that. Friday will give us more insight, of course, as well.